Hey there, I'm Christopher McClure from Wholeness Geeks, and welcome to Meditation Happy Hour, which happens every Friday at approximately 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And it's a time where I share meditations, processes, perspectives, both traditional and modern. Today I'm going to be sharing about the hoop in the tree. I recently, this week, I reviewed a book called The Hoop in the Tree by Chris Hoffman and uh, created a podcast about that and also a song, an accompanying song. And today I wanted to, well, that pod, the book and the book basically is a it's basically ideas. Um, there's some exercises in it, but it's basically ideas. And today I wanted to give a more um, I'm trying to come up with the right word here, a more visceral sense of the hoop in the tree. Uh, and so what I want to share is a meditation that I call the hoop in the tree meditation. Um, it's actually it's a practice, it's a method. Um, why is the hoop in the tree important? Um, so so basically, to review what it is, it's comes out of many traditions, but um, probably most prominently in the American Indian tradition. And it's the idea that the tree is the heaven element, the masculine element, and then the hoop surrounding the tree is the creation element or the feminine element. And so why paying attention to that? Why is that important? Because that is the context of of creation, of what we're living in, is that there's heaven and there's earth, there's the sky, you know, there's space and the earth that we live on. Um, there's spirit and there's matter. And the hoop in the tree is actually, that metaphor uh, is a metaphor for sexuality, if you think about it. So I want to just get right into what this meditation is, how it's done, and then we'll be doing it, and we'll take some notes, and then I'll discuss some ideas about it. But I've done, it's a composite meditation, meaning that there's like a number of meditations that are layered on top of each other. And some of these and basically all these meditations I've covered before in Meditation Happy Hour. So I'm not going to go into them in depth. And if you feel like you need like in-depth instructions, so go back and look at the other videos in Meditation Happy Hour. The core, sort of the foundational meditation is what I call soul kernel. Now, soul kernel is it's something that I arrived at the end of last year while I was in the hospital for 11 days. So it's basically a way of creating a portal for the soul to come into the body. So there's four parts to it. You have the dantian, which is the physical center of the body, 3 fingers below the navel, 3 fingers in. Then you have pulse. Pulse is one of the 3 body cycles, the 3 being respiration or breath, sensation, and then pulse. I kind of think of pulse as a subset of sensation. And like all the body cycles, when you meditate, when you use them as a meditation object, you find that you can find either any of the three in any throughout the body and even outside the body. So what we're going to do, and so specifically with pulse is, the most obvious example of pulse in the body is the heart beating, right? But you can find, mini pulse throughout the body. Now, I find that the best example of pulse that I can find in my body is this place right here, which is below the sternum. It's this soft spot right here. It's called the xiphoid process. And if I put my fingers there, I can actually feel my pulse. And if I stand in front of a mirror with my shirt off, I can actually see the skin moving there, the pulse. So that's just a way to locate the pulse. Now, but what we're going to do in this meditation is we're going to find the pulse down in the dantian, right, at that place, 3 fingers below, 3 fingers in. So it's kind of back by the sacrum. Okay, so that's the first 2 elements. The third element is the 6-pointed star, or the Star of David, the Seal of Solomon, the interlacing triangles. Basically, you have a upward-facing triangle, and then you have a downward-facing triangle, and they're interlaced. And so we're using this symbol as a yantra. So you've probably heard of a mantra. Mantra is a repeating sound. Here we're doing a repeating visual, and the repeating is the sides of this 6-pointed star. Right, we have the upward-facing triangle, and we have the base, the right side, the left side, and then the downward-facing triangle, the base, the right side, and the left side. So down in the dantian with the pulse, we're using the pulse as like a driver around the sides of these triangles. We're going to follow the sides using the pulse as the driver. So that's the third element, and then we're adding a mantra, right, a repeating sound, and this mantra is Om Mani Padme Hum, and that's Hindu, and it basically means the whole universe is found in the lotus of enlightenment. And so we're going to, as we're going around the sides of the triangle, we're going to be saying internally, not externally, internally, because when you say it externally, you kind of lose a sense of the pulse, and because the pulse is sort of the driver, we want to stay in touch with that. So it's Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. So that's going on all down in the dantian. Okay, so that's the first 4 elements. So now we're going to after that's established, we're going to move the location, right? We're going to move it down to the core of the earth, right? So the dantian is sort of like the core of the body, but now we're going to move the core. We're going to move down to the core of the earth, right? And we're going to do the same thing. Mani Padme Hum, down at the core of the earth. And what we're going to add, so that's the 5th element. The 6th element that we're adding is the infinite spine. And I actually call it the infinite sensate spine absolute, ESA, E-S-S-A. And so the spine, is this, you can think of it as this rod that, is situated throughout the body, and goes up to the head and goes down to the base of the spine. But you can think of it as going beyond going out the top of the head and out the perineum, so that it's infinite. So in a way, the 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 infinite spine is like a railroad track, and the body part of that is just like a train station. Like the track is going through the train station, and and the train station is just like one microcosmic experience of that infinite spine. Um, and like with the pulse, we're anchoring our attention. First, it was in the dantian and down to the core of the earth. We're going to use the sensation as sort of like the medium to experience this infinite spine, the infinite sensate spine. And because it's going out into infinity, it you know I it connects with with the with the black hole at the center of the universe, right? It connects with the absolute, and that's yeah, and so there's uh, this kind of sparkling blackness of this infinite sensate spine absolute. Okay, so we have those two elements added. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to take that star, and we're going to, instead of it being on this kind of plane, right? We're going to, on a vertical plane, we're going to flatten it out so it's on a horizontal plane. So it's going to be moving like that. And we're going to wrap it around the infinite sensate spine absolute, right? So now we're going Om Mani Padme Hum. So it's happening around the spine. And you might ask, well, where does it happen? Does it happen, down at the core of the earth, or does it happen at the dantian, or does it happen, where does it happen? And the answer is that it happens, it kind of moves, it's mobile, it stays anchored at the core of the earth, but it can, even one rendition through Om Mani Padme Hum, it can move, right? So that's the basic hoop in the tree practice, that you actually get this internal sense of that dynamic. And I do want to add, there's another two elements that I want to add to that to make it complete, and and that is the atlas, tongue on the roof of the mouth. So it kind of helps to bring this energy that's happening in the body and also in the core of the earth, to attach it to the head. But we're doing this for a couple of reasons. One, to distribute the energy, but the other is to actually connect it with this practice, which I call What the Who. And What the Who is basically, we're used to directing our attention out on things, even if it's our own body, but it's like there is a looker, and it's looking all over the universe. Well, what if you take that looker and turn it around and look at who's looking, right? What do you find? You find that looker that you thought was like kind of stable, maybe even static, is not so stable or static, that it's actually kind of permeable, kind of malleable, changing, and that it's almost like there's a back door. It's opening the back door, and throughout the back door is infinity. So that's the What the Who. So then this whole practice, right? The whole practice of the hoop and the tree is in a way like a structure to look at who is looking, right? So that completes the practice. So just to number these elements, we've got the core of the earth, we've got the pulse, we've got the star, we've got the mantra, and then we have the infinite sensate spine, and then we have the atlas, and then we have the what the who. So that's the practice. We're going to do this practice for 3 minutes and 33 seconds, and then we'll come back and share some notes. And yeah, so let's begin. Okay, we're back. So here, just some pointers, some things to consider. So in general, there's this sub technique that I've learned about meditating, I've learned it from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, and it's simply called thinking. And what it is that when you find yourself having discursive thoughts, feelings, basically you've gone away from the meditation technique, and you're kind of like lost, drifting, even falling asleep. Um, you just label it thinking. When you wake up and realize that's happening, you just label it thinking, and you come back to the technique. And it's like a kind way of just kind of reining yourself in, just reminding yourself what you're actually doing. And yeah, I guess that's all I want to say about it right now. I think next week I'm going to do a whole thing on this sub technique. Um, just a reminder that this moving, this whole practice is driven by the pulse, right? Pulse down in the core. It's easy, like when the breath, when you start recognizing your breathing, and because breath is more volitional, you can kind of like start sort of strong arming the technique. But it's and that's why it's driven by pulse, because pulse is something that you have to more or less surrender to. I find that there's actually another element that gets very easily gets added to this meditation and other meditations, and it's what I call contouring, which is that it's like start contouring is a technique, a method that I've derived from the Tibetan eye chart, where you're following the edge of this kind of elaborate visual diagram, moving from you put this chart up on the wall and your nose to the chart, and you're going out and following these shapes. And this contouring is sort of like the extension of that, with no chart out in the world, that you can follow the shape of anything. Well, I find that with this tech, with the hoop in the tree, that you're sort of hooping around your loop, you're circling the star around the spine. The spine is in a way like the edge of something that you're seeing, and you can kind of project that meditation out. So that's so it's more advanced, but it might be something that you find yourself doing. As with a lot of meditations, I find there's some jolting that goes on, where it's jolting, which is that there's new consciousness coming into the body, and the body is kind of responding to that new consciousness. And I think it's important to keep the train station metaphor in mind, that that we're this is that there's we're just we're actually having an opportunity to experience the divine humanness of ourselves, that we are in a body, but we're actually connected to the whole universe. Okay, so what is the hoop in the tree? What are we actually doing? Well, we're joining heaven and earth. We're actually viscerally doing that in our bodies, right? We've got this infinite spine, and we're wrapping around that. We're wrapping our intelligence around this infinity. Basically, we're wrapping our intelligence around infinity, and in doing so, we're going And because, it goes beyond our body and, to the core of the earth, we're actually going beyond our individual ego, our individual operating system, you know. And, the other thing to keep in mind is that we're involving our body and our speech through the mantra and our mind, through the six-pointed star. So it's like this integrating of these different levels of physical existence into this practice of joining heaven and earth. um, and even a bigger kind of picture of what we're doing is we've got this ultimate truth of that, what we experience as well, first of all, that we are divine humans. We have this ability to be individual, to be in a body, but also to experience the whole entire universe, for a consciousness to actually merge with the whole universe. And that's unique to our species on Earth. I don't know about other, like dolphins and whales and things like that, but I know that that's true about humans in comparison to most other species. So that's that we have that ability, and the truth of existence is that that we're all, it's all this energy, and it finds a certain, the form of what we experience in creation. So it's basically, it's spirit and matter. That's the truth. The ultimate truth is that what we experience is both spirit and matter. And what the hoop and the tree is a conscious embodiment of that ultimate truth. So that's it on the hoop and the tree. If you would like to be more involved, you can join. There's 3 different groups on Facebook. There's the Gaia Core group. There's the Welcome to the Shift Show Facebook group, and then there's the Wholeness Geeks Facebook group. So you can join those groups, and you can enter into discussion, and you can even share your own ideas and own meditations in the in the Wholeness Geek Facebook group. So once again, I'm Christopher McClure, and this has been Meditation Happy Hour about the hoop and the tree. Thank you.